winning the show and winning $1 million.
So what are the rules?
You won $1 million?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And I just saw YouTube as sort of the path of least resistance to freedom.
You have Bitcoin?
I have some Bitcoin. I'm mostly invested in gaming.
That's where I made arguably my most money. I invested in Apple.
Wow. You're always kind of auditioning for the next job, for the next job, for the next job, but there's not a good way to really get far ahead.
You're dancing with all the biggest stars, Taylor Swift, Jason Derulo. What's like your most proud moment dancing?
Okay, this is the way I see it.
So this is officially our first podcast.
That's right. Cheers. Congrats, #1.
XTRAordinary is live.
That's it.
This is pretty cool, dude. We had this vision, and the vision's big.
Yep.
The vision is big.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Joe Rogan started a podcast. What do he make on Spotify now? Like 250 mil or something like that?
The bar is high. Whatever it is, it's high.
Couple bucks.
Couple bucks?
Yeah, not bad.
Couple beans?
Yeah.
First podcast, we have a super sick guest. 30 million followers.
It's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people.
Let's lower the bar. Yeah, let's
Bring it back down.
He's a cool guy, came to buy to hang out. That's it.
Yep.
Keep it low.
More so than, at least how I look at you, than a guy with 30 million followers. I didn't even realize that. Is just an ultra amazing, talented friend that I have that like, I didn't realize so many accomplishments that you've already done. Like from back in the day, I also forget you were an incredible snowboarder, incredible dancer, choreographer, musician, all around, and just you had so many accomplishments in life. It's it's hard for me to even put it into words, but you're just such a go-getter, and on top of that, a great person. So regardless of the followers or anything, it's just like, damn, hats off to you. So honored to have you on here as our first guest. Really is.
Hell yeah. Thank you, bro. Appreciate that. Same to you. I mean, we've been friends for like probably a decade now.
Yeah, wow.
Which in this industry in LA is very, very rare to have like good people around you for that long.
True.
From Vine to fitness to music to comedy, we've kind of done it all together. So honored to be here. Guest #1.
Let's go.
Hope I don't let you guys down, man.
Dude, I want to know what your vision was like coming from Virginia, driving 40 hours across the country. What was Matt's vision?
Okay, so my first goal that I set for myself, and this to me was like, I thought I was really setting the bar high. Like I was like, if I did this would be crazy, right? I wanted to book one professional dance job, and I wanted to pay my rent by only dancing. That was it. I was like, if I pay my rent by dancing and I book some professional jobs, like success. And that was, at the time, that was kind of as far as I could see it. That was as high as I could reach. And I got here, it took me a couple years struggling. It was really tough. The transition, I think, for anyone coming from a small town, you don't realize how many talented people there are in the world and how many of them congregate in LA and just are pursuing this dream. So I got here and I'm like thinking, oh, we could go to these auditions and, it'll be like 100 dudes and they'll probably be pretty good and stuff. No, it was like 1,000 dudes and they're all like jacked like Spence, but like the best dancers you've ever seen and like perfect jawline. And you're just like, damn, like this is gonna be tough, And I think when that happens, you make one of two decisions. You're either intimidated by it and you let it kind of bring you down, or you're intimidated by it and you use it as fuel to work harder.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. I gave myself a timeline. I was like, I'm gonna be out here 2 years and I'm gonna go as hard as I can for 2 years. And if at the end of 2 years, I'm not happy, it's not working, I don't wanna do it anymore, fine, I'll go back home, I'll get a new job, I'll switch, whatever. But rather than being like day to day, do I want to continue? Can I keep going? I got kicked off this audition. Like, man, I was just like 2 years, blinders on, don't think about it, don't judge anything, just keep going. And I think that helped me. It was about 1.5 years in that I started to see the momentum turn. I booked a couple things in a row, and from there I just kept setting the bar a little higher, And for me, the timing of YouTube was a really incredible thing because dance is a little bit of a rat race. You're always kind of auditioning for the next job, but there's not a good way to really get far ahead. There's not a way to have any type of like a passive income. And just really like get out of that circle of trading time for money. It's really difficult to do that, and social media was sort of the thing that allowed us to take our art and make it more of a passive thing where you could create one piece of work that could generate a lot of income and give you freedom.
100%. And you were like one of the first people to realize that and do it, because back in the day, the biggest aspiration for any dancer was like, all right, let me be a backup dancer for J-Lo.
Yeah,
there was no dancer star
for that or anything.
Yeah, but you kind of just had this foresight to really become your own artist as a dancer. So what kind of like gave you that vision, or how did that come about?
Yeah, I think you guys know because you're also entrepreneurs. It's sort of more a mindset more than anything. Like when I came out here, I realized that even if I make it as a dancer, there's this glass ceiling, right? Like you're saying, backup dancer, you can only do so much. Also, you age out. Like you're not going to dance the same at 50 that you did at 20. So
true.
Even at like 25, I'm already thinking long term. Like, what am I going to do if I want to have a family one day?
Years old.
No. I'm saying, don't let this beard fool you.
We've known each other for 10 years. We were 15 out here.
So I wasn't necessarily like, oh, YouTube is the way. I was just always like, what can I, before I moved out, I had a little fitness side hustle business. I was DJ. I was like always trying to figure out what can I do, And I just saw YouTube as sort of the path of least resistance to freedom, really. Because it was a lot of gatekeeping, It's like, oh, you want to dance for this person? Well, you got to go to the agent, and the agent has to put you on the audition, and then the director has to like your look, and then and you're kind of helpless, know. And YouTube was a way for us to just take our power back.
Dude, so I don't have many fears in life, but one of my biggest fears is at a party or something, getting pushed into the circle. Being like, can anybody dance? Like, I look at myself and I'm like scared to dance. I'm scared to dance.
That should be like, those things where you have to do one of your fears. It's like public speak or like, I've never heard push into the circle.
I am great at public speaking, bro. Being in the middle of that circle with all the eyes on you. And just making a fool of yourself. Like, I just get nervous thinking about it right now.
I feel like you can't be a medium dancer and go into the middle of the circle. You have to either go funny and just go full funny or actually be a good dancer. There's no okay, you don't just do a little salsa move.
No,
you get in the middle. Okay, I learned my 8-step. There's none of that.
If you're taking it seriously, you better be really fucking good.
But my dream is to get in the circle and like break dance or something. Have everybody be like, yo, that kid's sick.
All right. Well, the short answer is yes, anyone can dance. 2 reasons. One, I was 17 when I started. I took my first dance class at 17, and I was terrible. Like, I grew up snowboarding. I played basketball, football, like normal sports. I'm 6'2". I'm like awkward, tall, white dude. Like, couldn't dance for shit. And the thing about it, it's kind of like, do you speak other languages?
No, that's my other. I'm not.
He's like, okay, no, you cannot.
My brain doesn't work.
No instruments?
Dude, I'm just an entrepreneur. My mind just races about business all day.
Okay, here's the correlation, right? Is like when you speak a new language, you have to pronounce every word. It's so difficult, right? Like the first week of Spanish, you're like, hola. Como estás, right? It's like everything is so arduous, so difficult. And then a week later, you're like saying phrases. And then a month later, you're saying full like conversations. And then 5 years later, you're just speaking. You don't even think about it.
Right.
It's the same exact thing, but people don't think about it like that because so few people learn to dance later in life. So there isn't really a good model of like, oh, my friend used to suck at dancing and then he did this and that and this and that. Now 3 years later, he can dance, right? It's sort of this thing, kind of like singing too. People just be like, you're either born with it or you're not. Right? You got 2 left feet. And like all these sayings that make you feel like you can't learn a new skill, especially later in life. And it's just not true.
It's like the end of the day, it's like consistency, right? Like
and
working out.
Breaking it down, right?
Let's go.
Simplifying things. Like if you try to learn a whole crazy dance this first day, it's too much. You have to learn how to, isolate one joint in your hand and your wrist and your elbow, and then you can start to put things together. And then
that was impressive. That was impressive right there.
A little isolation.
Let's go.
Okay, so you're 17 and you're like, I want to dance.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
And you were snowboarding before?
He had the same dream as you, and he just did it.
Seriously.
He wanted to be in the middle of the circle.
I'm like 17 at a quinceañera, like a bar mitzvah.
That actually not far off, short story is I was at this party. Nobody was dancing. And I'm in like, middle of Virginia. It's a small town.
How big is the town?
So the actual town is like Well, there's no stoplights in the whole town, and there's more cows than people. So
that provides some context.
Yeah, high school was like 500 people.
Yeah.
But they had these like dances in the summer. I go, no one's dancing. Everyone's sitting there like sipping on a Sprite or something because it's like a teen event. And I was like, man, this is so lame. We're all standing around here. No one's dancing. The DJ's playing because we're all scared to be that person. Right. So y'all just like, ugh. So me and my buddy were like, let's learn how to break dance. Exactly what you said.
Sick.
Learned a couple moves, came back to the club, like the party like 2 weeks later. We're like, terrible. Like the worst breakdancing you've probably ever seen. And everyone's like, oh.
Yeah, that gave you confidence.
And like the girls came out and they were dancing and all the dudes were like, oh, cool. And then everyone had a great time. And we were like, isn't it stupid that we were all for months, like every time we would go there, just sitting there, no one would dance. And it just took one person to be like, guys.
Yeah.
You know, so that was kind of what actually
How'd you learn those first moves? Was there YouTube back then? Or
no, pre-YouTube, yeah.
So you like went to like a class or like?
How to Break Dance Volume 1.
Let's go.
I can't remember VHS or DVD, but yeah, it was.
Dude, so that was me for And One Mixtape Volume 1.
Oh, man.
I'm like trying to do these basketball moves.
Sauce.
That's
hot
fair.
sauce.
That's fair.
Hot sauce.
The professor is still crushing content.
Yeah.
I don't know if his YouTube videos. He's dressed up like Spider-Man and goes and like balls with people at
He's
Venice.
probably the most successful one.
Yeah, insane.
Yeah.
I have a similar story about how I got into fitness because I was dancing. It was like, I think it was a middle school dance. And it was right around the time where the dance was, kids are grinding on each other. You're 14 years old. This is awesome. I love this.
Like, how many
I can
girls
dance.
Can I grind with?
Yeah, so you just get on the dance floor after you get your courage up to like ask a girl if I can grind on you. And these kids, you're just grinding. What is this? But I remember my stamina was nothing. So my legs are burning. My grinding stamina is trash. It's drastically improved. But back then I had no quad grinding stamina, but I wanted to keep doing it. So I extended the grind for way too long, and to the point where I wasn't able to walk for like the next 3 days. It was really bad, but
Damn, I'm sorry.
I realized I needed to start, doing leg day after that.
Dude, I know exactly what you mean by quad grinding stamina. Yeah.
It's serious.
How low were you bending?
I was like half mast. I was down there.
I meant your legs. Legs.
Okay, yeah. Noted.
Wait, so you need a lot of stamina to dance, right? Like.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's like a workout.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you're dancing with all the biggest stars, Taylor Swift, Jason Derulo.
Yeah.
Who are like, what's like your most proud moment dancing?
I mean, those two were really good. I got to do the Tonight Show when it was still Jay Leno.
Oh, sick. That's the one.
My mom is like a huge Jay fan growing up, and I got to bring her to the show and see the taping and stuff. So that was really cool. I did some stuff with Step Up, So You Think You Can Dance. Like all of those were projects that I really looked up to. The Ellen Show, so each one really validated just the decision and the sacrifice. I think it was more so, it wasn't so much like, oh, I need to put this on my resume or even post about it. It was just like when I left Virginia and the comfort and everything to come out here, you just want to feel like, okay, I did it. I made the right decision, And now with dance, I'm pretty satisfied. Like there's nothing left for me really to check on the list. And so I dance for fun. I make videos. I teach classes once in a while. I still love to teach, but I'm not really dancing professionally. I choreograph here and there, but I would say it's a much smaller part of my life now. It's actually a better fit. I think when you really love something and it's your full-time job, it's easy to get burnt out and kind of lose that passion. So being able now to have the freedom to step back and be like, if I feel like teaching, if there's a song that drops that I want to make a video to, I'm going to make it, is a really great space. And that's what I'm trying to find a balance for now.
Are you doing your own choreography for dance? Like, are you making up dances or like?
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
That's
dope.
You trying to learn one?
Let's go.
Dude, at some point, I have to get over this fear of dancing in the middle of the circle.
You are going to be extraordinary at dancing.
Dude, so the name of the show, we came up with it. We just want to talk to extraordinary people. But is it extraordinary or is it extraordinary?
I would say extraordinary.
Extraordinary?
Yeah. But the
Yeah,
song...
if you think about extraordinary, that's just more of, that's like extra medium. It's like, how do you get an extra, extra, definitely extraordinary over extraordinary, for sure.
But I've heard people go both ways.
Yeah, true. There's a lot of people that go both ways. Extraordinary is not one of them.
So, okay, so then you come out and you're dancing for Taylor Swift in Blank Era.
Blank Space.
Blank
yeah.
Space.
Oh,
Yeah, the Blank Space Era.
Such a
But
good
her
vibe.
new thing is the Eras tour.
Yeah. Did you see it?
No, I didn't see it.
I didn't see it either, but heard amazing things.
I've never seen
movie's
Taylor
out.
Swift live. No.
I think she grossed like $3 billion or $4 billion.
I can't
Talk
even
about
imagine. That's insane.
extraordinary.
Extra zeros.
Yeah.
is what that
Extra
is.
I mean, talk about a mogul, Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
She did something right.
Yeah. She honestly, I think it's a really, really great thing because she's one of the few artists that writes her music. She plays instruments. Like in an era where a lot of artists are a little bit more fabricated, especially in the pop scene, I think having like the Ed Sheerans and the Taylor Swifts and these people that are writers as well as artists, as well as performers, as well as, you know, something that someone that younger generation can look up to and aspire to instead of so much of the fabricated thing, I think is a really, really positive thing.
It's a great point. Great
yeah.
point. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally feel that way too. Like she's so authentic, and her story from, you know, the Kanye thing when Kanye came on stage and did that, like I feel like that just propelled her. And even now, dating Travis Kelce, not that that's like manufactured or anything, like, but that has brought in the whole NFL scene. NFL does 120, like, I don't know how much revenue. No, they do 20 billion in revenue a year. I was a Taylor Swift fan before, but I'm sure there were a ton of people that were NFL fans that weren't, that may now be.
Yeah, it's sort of a perfect storm of just the timing. It's crazy.
A perfect storm.
And the Super Bowl, and they win, and nuts.
Talk about the scripted.
It seems like it. If I wouldn't doubt if it was scripted. It's almost too good.
Is it scripted?
I don't know. I'm not going to say it definitely is, but I wouldn't be surprised. It feels like a movie.
Is it scripted?
I mean,
Is the
I
NFL
don't
scripted?
think you can do that.
There's no way.
That'd be a hell of an acting job.
See, my brother thinks it's scripted.
Here's the thing, though. These people that just throw out the term like, oh, it's scripted, or Jake Paul's fights are rigged.
Yeah.
The amount of execution that needs to go in and secrecy that you would have to do to keep that on lock for that not to get out is impossible.
Conspiracy theorists.
Yeah. There's no way.
Not to mention, some of those knockouts are vicious.
Yeah.
Like, if it was rigged, if I was throwing the fight, I'd be like, yeah, give me like a gut punch in the fourth round, and I'll be like, oh, my kidneys, whatever. But like,
for sure.
Some of those where they're just literally like,
and to assume a boxer is good enough of an actor to like not fuck it up.
Yeah.
It's like, what? You're just gonna what are you, Brad Pitt in there? Like, you're gonna if it's rigged, everything's on the line. Everything's at risk. You go to jail forever. So it's
Dude, so I lived in Puerto Rico for 4 years, and Jake and Logan were my neighbors, and they have this boxing gym down there. Those guys are in there every day, 5 hours a day training.
Wow.
Are you a boxing fan?
Yeah. I mean,
bit.
we watch a lot of fights and stuff. Yeah.
Jake Paul's the real deal, dude.
Yeah.
He's a legit boxer.
Yeah.
And he has a fight tonight, actually.
oh really?
Yeah.
All right, let's pull it up.
Dude, let's pull it up.
Pull it up right here.
I think it's amazing. I think that every time someone can do something that breaks the mold completely, it's a good thing for society. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember, you know Lily, right? Lily Singh?
Yeah.
YouTuber, amazing writer, comedian. And everyone was saying, if you're on YouTube, if you're a comedian on YouTube, you're just like a YouTuber. You're a YouTuber. And then she got
boxed into like
her own late night shows, like after
Late Night with Lily.
Yeah, her own late night show on TV, right? And it was like the first time that someone from doing like sketches on YouTube had a legitimate show, and it opened the doors for all of us. And I think the same thing happens with Jake. Like, he's a Disney kid, he's a YouTuber, he's whatever. Everybody underestimated his work ethic, you know? And so, like, love him or hate him doesn't matter. At this point, you can't deny that he's just the real deal. He's literally going
at the end of the day,
it's
just someone that has got the belief in himself to go and do things despite the whole world talking down on you and telling you can't do it.
Yeah,
it takes a
thrives
lot.
off that. That's his fuel. He's an entrepreneur, just like you, just like us.
Yeah, 100%.
But that work ethic, I mean, I have some friends that are UFC fighters, and I've gone to their workouts and like tried to keep up on the side. It's
like who?
Brutal.
Who are we talking about?
Jeremy Stevens. I went to his workout one time in Vegas. It's got to be over 100 degrees in that gym. He's like on the jump rope, sparring, doing cardio, this and that, up and down. Like I'm about to puke just watching him and trying to breathe in this sauna of a boxing gym, you know, and just tireless work ethic.
Yeah.
Year in and year out. Like the longevity is unreal with some of these athletes.
But to be extraordinary, I feel like that theme is consistent. The work ethic, whether it's being a UFC fighter or being one of the top dancers in the world. Like when you think about how hard you had to work, like how do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's same but different, right? Like what they're doing physically is putting themselves through such incredible pain and struggle. Like I think anyone, you know, even being an entrepreneur, mentally, you probably went through as much, if not more struggle than an athlete, than a dancer, than anyone. You know, it's still mentally there. I think for me, the hardest part was the mental side. The physical side of dancing, it's kind of like I said, if you stick with it and you get in good classes, you get in good teachers, eventually you are going to get it. Mm-hmm. It's more the mental side of when you get rejected, when there's a 999 other dudes that are better than you in a room, and you're like, somehow I'm going to pass these guys up and I'm going to book this job, right? It's like, that is where you really just want to be like, all right, man.
It's not
resilience,
but it's not luck though. Like
it's not luck.
How many hours? Like you're practicing for like hours a day, or like how?
Yeah, but again, dance is I think the reason that I did well in dance is because it's subjective. Like if you want to be a gymnast, you can either land the flip and get the points, or you can't.
True.
There's no like, oh, I like the way you did the flip.
Right.
Yeah.
Not really. You know what I mean?
To an extent,
so if you don't start being a gymnast at 3 or 6 or whatever, you're not going to be an Olympic gymnast if you start at 17. It's too late.
Yeah.
Dance, music, these are art forms that are subjective. And it's a lot more like building a company, right? Like you don't necessarily have the best product or have the best thing, but if you have a great marketing idea of how to market the product, you could beat out a product that's better.
Contrary to that, Jake Paul started boxing when he was like 20 years old. That's not subjective.
But also, Jake Paul is not a regular boxer or a world superstar that got into boxing.
Right.
Try and get into boxing when you're like 25 as a no one.
Yeah. He
Good
used
luck.
his platform.
You got to use your platform and catapult that. And also, like
winning.
Genetically, both the Paul brothers are savages.
Beasts.
Savages.
You know, so it's like there's an anomaly there. You can't just compare that to everything, because if you already have over 20, 40 million followers.
I think also though, what I'm talking about is like, say to be an Olympic gymnast, right? You have to be in the top 0.00001% to ever get there.
100%.
Jake didn't come out of the gate and fight the Olympic level boxers, right? He's like working his way up, very smart on who he's picking on his opponents and stuff. And now he's starting to get to that level, and he definitely has accelerated it quickly.
He's doing what all other boxers had to do, but the difference is he's doing it in the limelight.
He's fighting a lot harder. I see this thing like his 10th fight is against a guy who's 17-2, who has 3, like, I don't know what they're called, golden gloves. And then he compares himself to the 10th fight of like Gervonta Davis or like Canelo. These guys fought like...
No one's done that before.
Yeah.
No one's done that.
That's a good point.
No, really he's moving up fast.
So I want to talk about, you come out here and then you were on The Amazing Race. Yeah. But you didn't just compete on The Amazing Race. You fucking won The Amazing Race.
Let's go. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah.
Tell us about that.
That is, to this day, I would say the thing that I'm the most proud about is winning that show. I was a super fan. I watched every season, every episode. I slept on the sidewalk in San Francisco to audition one year. That's how hardcore I was.
Let's go.
Like, in a sleeping bag, lying around the block.
So how legit is The Amazing Race? Like, there's cameras following you, but they're not like telling you shit or like...
Yeah, nothing. Like, it is so incredibly legit.
Yeah.
To the point where there's no second takes of any, not even a word. Like it is 100% real, every aspect of it. It's just like, for me, it really changed my whole outlook, not just on adventure and travel, but on production and television, like how authentic it is. It's such an incredible show.
I want to go back and watch that season now. Yeah. It's like...
Wait, are you solo or is it a team?
No, you do it with a partner.
Okay.
So I did it with my girlfriend at the time.
Okay.
It was, it's an exciting, drama-filled season. Yeah. We definitely got a lot of camera time.
Okay.
We were spicy, they like to say.
I like the spice.
But you don't sleep much, you don't eat much. Like sometimes you're just going for days at a time. So tension is high, everything is high, and you're making these decisions that, do we go left or right? Like that could be the difference between getting knocked out and winning the show and winning $1 million.
So what are the rules? Because
so you won $1 million?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Well, you split it, and then,
Taxes,
California
whatever,
taxes. So you walk away with like $17.
17, like nothing.
Get a green smoothie.
You get a Subway sandwich,
California
actually.
taxes, dude.
So what are the rules for the Amazing Race? I've never seen it.
All right. So basically, they say go, and you have a clue, leads you to a place, leads you to a thing, to a challenge, and every it could be 8 hours, it could be 3 days. There's a checkpoint, and the last person to check in gets eliminated. And you just do that for
So you just got to be
12
sharp.
episodes. Yeah, so it's high risk because it's very difficult. Like even if you're the smartest and the fastest and all of that, there's so many times where one bad decision, you just get on a train and it happens to be going the wrong way and you didn't double check, and the smartest team gets eliminated like on one thing. And that's really it's like survival of the fittest for the most part. And then at the end, you really go hard. And that was our strategy, was like, just don't fuck up. For the first 11 episodes, don't fuck up, and then go really hard on the last one and win. And somehow we're able to do it. Yeah.
Wow, dude. So it's 12 challenges because there's 12 teams.
Yeah, I think it's 12.
And each
roughly.
time one team gets eliminated. So it's like a 12 episode type thing.
Yep. Yeah. And the challenges are, the things that they
tell me about like some of the cool challenges.
Oh man. We went I don't know what you call it in the snow, but it's like paragliding. You have like a parachute. You run off this cliff. We were in Chamonix, France, in the French Alps. And the dude just buckles you in with him. And he's like, all right, run. And you just run. And the next thing you know, you're like 2,000, 3,000 feet in the air over this thing. There was a point in Dubai where we were leading camels through like an obstacle course. And the camels were like spitting on us and they didn't want to go. And it's like 100 degrees and you're just dragging camels. Like they just get you into really unique situations, and it's a really amazing show too, because they balance adrenaline with culture, with education. Yeah. So sometimes you'll be doing really, like there was one we had to match the flags at the United Nations building, I think it was, in like Switzerland. And I was like, oh man.
Dude, so you get to travel around the whole world.
Yeah.
You're paragliding or whatever it's called in Chamonix in France, which is like the sickest ski resort or mountain. You're in Dubai, you're in Switzerland at the United Nations.
Yeah, we did. We were in Cartagena, we were in China, we were in, honestly, so many amazing countries.
How long
Mexico City.
In like what?
It's like about 3 weeks.
Wow.
And what's crazy about the show, like it's still running. And every season, like I don't really realize sometimes how far this show stretches.
Yeah.
Every season without fail, someone that I know from my past will be like, bro, I saw you're on The Amazing Race.
Yeah.
Me and my girl just auditioned. Me and my best friend just auditioned.
Any tips? What do I do? You won.
Can we like you could, and I'm like, man, like this show, it's just
It's one of the most successful shows.
Yeah, I think they're on season like 34 or something now.
Yeah, it's like that in Survivor. But
yeah.
I'd probably rather be on The Amazing Race than Survivor.
Yeah.
Just like,
Well, they're both CBS, so a lot of people will do one and then do the other because they're kind of like on the same network,
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I was like,
they hit you up to do Survivor. You're like, yo, let's get you on Survivor.
Yeah, like you can, because Big Brother also is CBS.
Yeah,
so if you do one, you're kind of in the family. You can maybe get on another one. But I was like, nah, Amazing Race was it for me. I'm good.
One and done.
But man, just such an incredible show, honestly.
Yeah, a lot of people do like multiple shows. I used to be a fan of Real World and Real Rules.
Yeah.
Good old
shows
days.
are sick, dude.
Yeah.
Back.
I was a fan of Next, that show.
Oh my God, is that the dating one?
The most superficial show.
Was that the one where they put them on the bus?
Yeah, they're on the bus.
I love
you
the
go
bus.
out as soon as you see something like Next.
Yeah.
The quickest.
I remember one where
that show's ruined so many people's lives. If they're in within the first 3 seconds of Next, you're
I remember
done.
one because the way they come out of the bus, you like see their like feet and then kneecaps, and then it goes up. And he stepped out. He had a flip flop on, and he said one step. She was like, next. He was like. He was like a good looking like chill dude too. He was like, and she was like, sorry,
no flip flops.
Nope.
I ain't gonna let you flip flop on me.
No,
My ex had a flip flop.
I was like, damn, brutal.
Good time.
You're texting all your friends. Yeah, man, I'm about to be on MTV. This is my come up. All you get is one foot.
flip flop.
He's like, that was me. That was me.
I would actually probably feel better if it was the flip flop than the face. She sees the face. Ow.
Yeah, true.
At least it's just the toe.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Could be worse.
Yeah, it could
What
be
were
worse.
some other ones? It was like Date
Room
My
Raiders back
Mom.
then.
Yeah,
Room Raiders with the black light.
The black light on the sheets.
That had to be set up. Like,
Had to be.
just like take the black light. There's just trash everywhere. That was terrible. What a damn show. I can't even believe that was a show.
Yeah, they don't get
Yeah, that
told.
was
They like
brutal.
go and kidnap you out of your room. Like, how is that?
Yeah.
Not so,
Yeah, there's no way I would
what
let
was
them
the
in my
one
room.
where the parents watch
Oh,
the
that's
date?
right. That's right.
They hate the person that their kid is
I
dating.
remember that one.
So
You
they
had to
set them up
convince-
on a new date,
Yeah.
and then the
Yeah.
parents and the current boyfriend watch the date.
I forget the name of it. What
And they
was the
just
name of
talk
that show?
shit the whole time.
Yeah, that was great. That was great. They try and set him up with a new guy.
Yeah.
They either take him or they don't
And
take him.
they just have like one-liners.
Yep.
Like, you could never treat her like that, Corey. It's like-
I gotta go watch these good shows.
Dude, I feel bad for the
So
younger
many.
generation that doesn't have these
They don't have
shows.
that, yeah.
None of these sweet MTV. What happened to MTV?
yeah.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
the-
But it makes you think about how much cooler Amazing Race is than all these shows that lasted like a couple seasons.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like-
to have a show that's timeless is so difficult.
Yeah. It's been 34 seasons.
I think one of my favorite things to watch recently is documentaries and stories about companies that didn't properly evolve into this next generation. Like the BlackBerry one
Blackberry
was really good.
That was a good show. Film.
On the flight the other day, I was watching Bezos, and it's I don't know how accurate it is, but it's basically telling Bezos' story of starting Amazon. And there's a part in the movie where he has a meeting with the guy from Barnes and Noble, similar to like the whole Netflix and Blockbuster situation, right? And I would love to know actually what happened, because when it's a dramatization, you never really know. But there's a part where he says like Barnes and Noble is the past and I'm the future, and like basically go fuck yourself. Like obviously now it's
And
like
he was right.
Amazon's like 200 billion. I think it said Barnes and Noble was worth like 500 million or something, like just insane. But at the time, it was hard to ever imagine a time where Barnes and Noble
just
and
be under-
Blockbuster and Tower Records and all, or what was the CD store? Like I used to
CD
go,
Trader, CD Baby.
Used to go into records and people would be like, oh, streaming music, and you're like, yeah, come on, man, that's never going to be a thing, you know. And
family friends with the guy who started Blockbuster.
wow,
And this guy, at one point, he was the only entrepreneur to have started multiple billion-dollar companies. Kind of like,
what were the other ones?
so this guy, his name is Wayne Huizinga.
Oh,
right?
Wayne Huizinga. I didn't know he started Blockbuster. Yeah, back in the day. He's from South Florida.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Wayne Huizinga started his career out as a garbage man. Mm-hmm. People may look down on garbage men, but they're important. With one garbage truck. And then he went to the neighboring, town or whatever, and made a deal with that garbage man and consolidated. And now he had 2 garbage trucks. Then he went to 6 garbage trucks, 15 garbage trucks, and started consolidating all these like mom and pop garbage truck companies, started Waste Management.
Wow.
Yeah.
Massive.
And then that became his model, which is the similar model to Blockbuster. Before Blockbuster, they were just mom and pop video stores.
That's right.
you remember that?
Right. Yeah, it was just a video store.
Yeah.
And then Blockbuster was the name brand one.
And he would just go, he would literally fly city to city, and he wouldn't leave the table until he got a deal done. And he would offer these companies equity in...
So he's a gangster.
Yeah. So he's
I'll leave it.
I'll leave it at the table. And he started consolidating, and he would give them equity in the bigger picture, probably like some cash buyout as it started to grow. And he would have small stakes in these companies, but a small slice of a bigger pie is better than big slice.
And he would
of nothing.
convert them to Blockbusters?
Yeah, just rebrand, convert to Blockbuster, rebrand. And then he did that. His third company was AutoNation. And so he started consolidating like car dealerships.
Wow.
And then my dad sold his business to Wayne Huizinga, which was a big car rental company.
That's right.
And this guy ended up buying the Miami Dolphins, the Florida Marlins. Like he was the South Florida guy.
That's right.
But
Wow.
going to Netflix, I don't know if Blockbuster offered. I think I could be wrong, but I think that there was a time where Blockbuster could have
trying to do
bought
it.
Netflix
Yeah.
for like
Yeah, it was
I think it was for like $9 million.
Yeah.
It was something crazy like that.
yeah, because Netflix was
They pitched BlockBuster, and BlockBuster was like, nah.
What it was before, what it is now, they would mail you
Right.
the video or the DVD. It was DVDs, right?
Yeah.
And you could hold it and then you had to return it, but it was just a mailing service.
Yeah.
No late fees, and that's how they got in, because BlockBuster was charging those late fees. They shouldn't have been doing it.
Fucking late
It's
fees.
late fees.
And
That's how
then
they get you.
I remember in that movie too, they say Blockbuster's like, all right, we gotta, now Netflix picking up a little steam. We're gonna go no late fees to combat that.
Yep.
But it was such a big part of their revenue that it just
It was too late.
Yeah, you need we need those late fees.
We need those late
bring
fees.
them back. Bring them on back.
Johnson, you're fired.
Dude, I remember going into Blockbuster on Friday night and just going up and down the aisles trying to find my favorite VHS.
Oh, man.
VHS, that's it.
That's what they said, right? It was we weren't renting movies, we were selling you an experience.
Yeah,
and it was like you would go on Blockbuster and picking the movie was more fun than watching the movie.
Yeah.
Like you just look at all the titles and
Getting the and there would be the cover of the movie and then like a few movies behind it.
Yeah.
You'd see if your movie that you wanted was there.
revolutionized.
Yeah.
Wild times, man.
And then you get some candy at the cash out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't even have to go in to return it. There was just like a little mailbox on the outside. Just slop it in, get that.
Yep.
You just have to.
Yeah, I think that's the challenge, right? Is it's his idea obviously was so revolutionary and he was able to do it 3 times, which is insane. But the longevity aspect is times evolve. You know, we've had to do that several times on social. It's like Vine, 6 seconds. Everything's
new?
really short.
Yeah.
Okay, Vine's gone. Okay, YouTube, long form, vlogs. Okay, cool. Oh, we don't like vlogs anymore. Now it's TikTok, short form, vertical. Right? It's like,
Snapchat.
yeah, exactly.
That's how you know that
evolving.
it's not by chance. You know, if you can repeat it, it's really about the person and what they've learned along the road. If they can just replicate that on a different platform with a different industry. I mean, for you, like a lot of people don't know this, you're a master snowboarder. Like elite level snowboarding.
Are you like pulling 3? What kind of snowboarder?
He's pulling tricks, pulling things.
Yeah.
It's like,
what?
legit.
Like
I mean,
flips?
yeah.
For sure. Your boy's flipping on the mountain.
Yeah.
Full on.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, not as much anymore, but okay, so I grew up snowboarding, was really into it, competitive, and then I went out like to train with the real guys, and I was like, okay, I'm not that good.
Like the flying tomato.
Yeah, so I saw Shaun snowboard when we were both like, I don't know, we were like 16 or 18 or something, and I was like, nah, he got it. Like, I'm gonna go dance, I'm gonna go do my thing.
Take that.
You know, but like,
I'm gonna do a little bit of everything.
It's funny because I went out here, I didn't snowboard for 8 years. If you hurt yourself as a dancer, like that's it, you're done. So I was like, cold turkey, I stopped. I thought about it every winter. I would just be like fantasizing about going snowboarding again, right? So once things were good and I was set, I had the chance to do a show with Shaun. And I told him the story, like how I grew up, and then I watched him and I was like,
I'm good.
You're good. You got it, you know? And we got to like ride together and actually became friends, taught him a couple dance moves and
Sick.
DJ'd his, he had Aaron Style. He had that music festival in LA.
Oh, that's right.
But back to kind of what we were talking about earlier of boxers, dancers, like that level of training, like going out on the mountain with him and watching him train for the Olympics, super pipe, was one of the most terrifying things. Like I was watching and I just, every time he would go up, I was like, if you mess up, you just die. Like he's 25 feet above an ice wall.
At that point, even with a helmet.
And if you're just like a little bit off and clip it.
No, like I'll flip, I'll do all kind of stuff, but like that is absolute insanity. Like extreme sports athletes, I have so much respect for.
And even to get to that level of whether it's snowboarding or for you, for dancing, it's not only dancing, it's also choreography. It's, you know, with your business, with your socials. I think it comes down to the level of drive that an individual has. Where do you get your drive from? Because it's consistently throughout any kind of, you know, vertical you're in. Where would you say it's coming from?
I would say for me, it's very internal. It's mostly about proving it to myself. I think that coming, especially from a small town, like I said, making a sacrifice. When you sacrifice a lot and you don't have a lot of things and a lot of opportunity, when you get the opportunity, you really want to make the most of it. You know, I think being in Virginia and being like, oh, I wish I could dance. I wish I could do this. I wish I had the opportunity to do that. Once I got here, I was like, so few of my friends ever made it out of our small town in Virginia. If I made it out here and I made this sacrifice, like I'm kind of doing it for all of us. Like I'm doing it for myself. I'm doing it for all of us. I want to show people that maybe also come from a small town or a country where they don't have opportunity that we have, that if you can't do it in your city, there's an opportunity to move somewhere. If you can't move somewhere, there's social media. If you can't get on social media, like teaching your town, there's always another way. And I think that that's one of the most important messages, especially going into this like social media era.
It's the mindset that anything's possible.
Yeah, it's the mindset. And also too, like, you know, if you don't have something you're working towards, for me, I get really bored really fast. I think I'm the happiest when I'm struggling a little bit, you know, and figuring things out. And then you achieve something and you're like, great, let me enjoy this for a while. Let me be present. Let me really, and then it's like, okay, but what's next? You know, and that's kind of the fun part of it. I mean,
Setting the bar a little higher.
Because it's not about the destination, it's about the journey.
Yeah. And for dance is such a beautiful art form because it can be a solo activity, but it's really not. It's a community activity. And that's what I fell in love with, is like the people, you know? It's not about, oh, me in my bedroom, like choreographing some dance. It was like, I can't wait to get to dance practice and see my friends and like be in the class, and the energy's crazy, and then we perform. And it was like all that camaraderie and community that that's what I miss more than anything now. I think that's what I want to create in the next things that I do, is that same energy.
So what is the next like big thing that you're thinking about or trying to focus on?
Oh man, there's two things that I'm really focused on. One is music. You know, me and Spence have been producing for a long, long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we both make house music, electronic music, and it's a really hard thing to do part-time.
Right.
You know, like anything else, so
can't do
competitive.
anything part-time.
You know, you have to, and I've never had the opportunity to really put enough time aside to properly dive into that. So I'm really hoping in the next year I can do that. And then the other thing is, my brother and I used to work together on my YouTube channel. He used to film and edit for me. My brother and I are really, really close. He lives in Salt Lake. And he was a gamer growing up. And I got into crypto really early, and I saw his skills in gaming. And I told him, I was like, crypto and Web3 is going to move into the gaming space. Web3 gaming is going to be huge. And so a year and a half ago, I told him, like, you shouldn't work for me anymore. Focus your time into this, and there's going to be a big opportunity here. And so he's been deep, deep down the rabbit hole the last couple of years, and we started a show together and a company together. And obviously Web3 gaming is getting to be a really hot topic right now. So
crypto's coming
putting
back right now.
a ton of time into that. Yeah,
I think
it
Bitcoin's
really
over
is.
60,000 now.
Yep, getting close to all-time high. I think the opportunity right now that's really interesting is that, you know, the last couple runs I was a part of, it was pretty much just the internet nerds, myself included, like being like, this is the future, and like, you know, trading shit coins and all that stuff, whatever.
Oh God.
Now we have an ETF approval for Bitcoin, probably for ETH this year as well. We have a Bitcoin halving coming up in the next couple of months. We have an election year, which we've already had some promises of interest rates being lowered.
Yep. Perfect storm.
It's literally a perfect storm. Like, this has never even come close to happening. So I think that this time is going to be different, because you're not really ever going to have this again. You'll never have a time where an entire new asset class is brought in, and all of a sudden an ETF is approved and just the floodgates are opened, you know, and that's what's happening. It's gone up, I don't know, 20, 30% in the last 2 weeks, because all the funds are scrambling. And I forget what fund.
Do you have Bitcoin?
Yeah, I have some Bitcoin. I'm mostly invested in gaming.
Okay.
Honestly, right now.
What does that mean?
Not financial advice. This is not
Put the
financial
disclaimer,
advice
boom, on the screen.
to anyone. It's always financial advice to people. They always talk about financial advice, and then they say, by the way, it's not financial advice.
Slide that in there.
Really? Because it sounds like financial advice. Oh, it sounds like you're just covering your ass by saying not financial advice.
You're not telling other people what to invest in, but what
I'm
do
not
you
telling you.
invest in?
But if I were me.
Yeah, for sure. Not financial advice.
Okay, this is the way I see it. If I tell someone about crypto or NFTs that is not native, that isn't really interested in it, it's very hard to convince them. People be like, that's a scam, that's weird, I don't know what you're talking about, right? But if I say, do you like Fortnite? Oh, I love Fortnite. Have you ever bought a skin? Yeah, I got a bunch of skins. I got this jersey that I really love in Fortnite. Okay, what if instead of you buying Fortnite dollars and then spending Fortnite dollars on a jersey, and now you can't do anything with it except wear it in a game, what if you bought a currency and then bought the jersey and you now own the jersey? And if the game gets more popular, you could then sell the jersey, or you could rent the jersey, or you could trade it back for these coins. And if the game gets more popular, you can go buy more jerseys, right? They're like, oh, that would be sick, right? What if you could get paid just for being really good at the game and playing the game? You don't even have to win a tournament. You're pushing the game forward because
You could be in the game market.
right. So then anyone that's ever played a video game can understand that and be like, yeah, sure, I would try that out, right? So far, the games haven't been good enough that anyone would actually want to do that.
Right.
The games are about to be good enough.
Yeah.
And so
Talking about like Fortnite or like games like that, right?
yeah. So now, the Parallel is doing some incredible things. They have an AI game that's coming out that's absolutely unreal. It's literally like helping build itself.
Okay.
Crazy.
Yeah, nuts. There's a game called Shrapnel that's competitive with, AAA games. There's a game called Off the Grid coming. These are like legit titles that have crypto integration, that have NFT integration. And if you play the game and you don't want to know that or don't care, you would never know.
Yeah.
It's not gated like, oh, you need to buy this $10,000 thing to get to the level. It's
not a
that.
gimmick.
It is a game. It's a real game with a real team. And eventually one of these is going to break through because they're getting legit. And so my thought process on it is I can try to pick the winning game, but that's a little bit of a tough strategy, right? And so I'm trying to find the best gaming studios that are producing multiple games. I'm trying to find the platforms that are running advertising on the games. I'm trying to find, even for AI, like see what happened with NVIDIA, right? It's like,
Bro, NVIDIA.
it's absolutely insane, right? But it's the picks and shovels of AI, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm personally looking for, because when you try to pick the winning company, like hopefully you get Google,
crapshoot,
but you might not, right?
Yeah.
But if you get computing power, and all these things need computing power, it's a little bit more likely
Bigger
that you're
cast
gonna
net
hit.
instead of a fishing
I'm
pole.
a big picks and shovels guy.
Yeah, picks and shovels.
Picks and shovels.
the
Okay, wait,
win.
I have another question to build on that.
Not financial advice, by the
Before
way.
we move to something else. So
Throw that in every 90 seconds.
So you're huge into gaming, right? You're obviously a big influencer with your platform through dancing, DJing, creative. What is your view on Apple Vision Pro? Or do you not have one?
No,
Or-
I got one.
Okay.
Yeah. Spence and I was laughing because Spence and I made some videos
Shout
with the Apple Vision Pro.
First day. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in the gym.
Yeah.
Working out with the Apple Vision Pro. We'll send you a link.
Okay. Unreleased.
Did you use one?
No, I haven't used it yet.
Okay. There are some things about it that are absolutely incredible. I think it's very much a V1.
Okay.
The idea that I can sit in this room and I can put my email on this wall, and I can put YouTube on that wall, and I can put the football game I'm watching here, and put a notepad here, and then I can walk around the room and those things are in place, so it's almost like they're in my room.
Right.
Is really incredible.
Okay.
The screen, like when you go into the cinema mode,
Yeah.
if you have proper headphones on and you're in that cinema mode, like you're in a movie theater.
Yeah, that's the most
It is
compelling to me. I was like,
And that's what I was thinking about. How do you think that translates into gaming? Like, are there games made for that yet where you are
Yeah.
in a game?
Yeah, there are, and it's pretty good. The thing is a little clunky. It's
Okay.
heavy on your head.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Actually using it and moving the things and setting it up, it's all a little bit tough.
Takes a little getting used to.
Yeah, it's not quite there, but the potential is insane. I think really it has to get to the point where it's like maybe glasses or contacts or
Right.
something where you don't even notice that you're wearing it, because
It's too heavy.
yeah, I tried to make some dance videos with it and do some
Yeah.
stuff, and I felt like a bobblehead. Like
100%.
it was a lot.
Yeah.
But
Have you
again,
compared
V1,
it to,
I'm already waiting for the Vision Pro 2s and 3s. I'm going to just hold off.
Have you
until we get to
compared it to the other VR headsets like Meta's Quest?
I think they have a new one since I last tried it, so I can't really give a fair comparison. I did see some comparisons online. I think the Meta one is much, much, much cheaper.
Yeah,
because the Apple Pro is like
$500
$3,000
compared
or
to
something.
$3,500. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's insane.
Yeah.
But again, Apple iPhone version 1, we were like, oh my God,
Yeah.
it takes a picture, right? Like it was mind blowing. And now look where we are. The camera's 4K and it fits in your pocket.
Dude,
It's moving so fast.
That's
yeah.
where I made arguably my most money. I invested in Apple before the iPhone came out.
Wow.
That's the move.
In I can't remember what year this is.
2006 or something?
Yeah, 2005, 2006. I was like, this thing is going to be able to control my TV or like open my garage.
Thanks for the financial advice back then, brother.
Yeah,
You should have let us know.
I got you.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, iPhone was a game changer. Do you think that Vision Pro, I mean, they're talking about it being like, this is a mobile computing platform. Vision Pro is a spatial computing platform. Do you think that it, like, I haven't tried it. So do you think it's that?
No.
No. Okay.
I think that solved a problem for everybody in America, right? Whether you want to take pictures, you want to send emails, you want to listen to your music. It was bringing it all in one. It solved a problem. Every single person, you could be like, what if it was easier to send an email or listen to music or look up something?
Call a car.
Everybody would be like, yeah, that would improve my life.
Yeah.
I think Apple Vision Pro is more of a toy.
Okay.
You don't need it. It's like, it didn't improve my life.
Right.
I was like, oh, it's cool to watch a movie in here, but it's not a necessity. It's also not at a price point, going to be at a price point for a while. That's
Right.
really affordable. So, will it change the world at some point? One of them is going to, absolutely. We're going to fully be Ready Player One. You're going to live in your world in your headset that's perfect.
You're going to be able to feel everything.
Decide when you want to come out to the real, absolutely, things are headed in that direction. But I think we still have a few years. What I'm more excited / concerned about is Sora, personally.
Yeah, Sora.
Like, I don't know if you guys,
AI.
well,
The generative AI that's the next
AI,
level one.
absolutely. But like, I think when ChatGPT came out, we were all like, oh, cool, it can like write scripts for you.
Right.
When Sora came out, we were like, oh, fuck.
This is the text to video.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's very
Mind-blowing.
realistic. It's very realistic. It's too realistic. And if
things-
that's where we're at now, imagine where we're going to be out in like 5 years.
Because it's exponential.
The
It's
things,
just
if
growing on
you
top of itself.
render like 3D video out, things like hair, things like wind, fur, like these are hand movement. Like it's so difficult. It takes so much computing power. It takes so much time to do that. So there's one in particular where it's like golden retriever puppies, like little puppies in the snow.
Yeah.
And the snow was like falling off of one and landing on the other, and the fur was getting compressed in different ways. And it's like, that's insane.
The golden retriever
That's
puppies
insane.
are looking more like golden retriever puppies than golden retriever puppies are looking like golden retriever.
Yeah,
I need to see this video.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
So
it's scary.
it's on the way up.
Yeah.
And this is so new. I mean, ChatGPT came out, what, a year and a half ago? Or
I'm excited about Neuralink.
Yeah.
You want that?
I'm not going to get
chip in your
V1.
brain?
I'm totally not going to get
You're
V1.
you're a V2
No, you
guy.
get, you get it.
V2.
Well, you let us know how it goes.
I want to wait
for
till they
you.
get the bugs out.
Yeah.
Get some of the updates,
No,
and then I'll get it.
I don't know.
I'm going to get it. I'm maybe not V1.
All right,
I'm
you're
going to
V1.
wait for you to get
Somebody's
it.
got to do
Yeah,
V1.
yeah, you get
They
it.
already have the first chip in a human.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good
I want
for
to
that
know
guy.
who signed up.
But I mean,
did he get stock
initially-
options?
Yeah.
What did he get?
Initially,
He was the one guy that answered the advertisement, for
Initially,
Neuralink.
it's for medical purposes, right? So they're trying to solve like people with paralysis or people that are blind or people with, some sort of medical ailment.
Right.
And
That's how it's going to start.
yeah, I mean, it's like for
Without
people that are
going
handicapped that they're
too
trying
much
to improve
into
their
a
lives.
rabbit hole, though, if it works really well, right? I think that's an incredible use case and absolutely should be explored to the fullest potential. If it starts getting to where, like, say, if there's anything wrong with your body, it can just solve it. You need this, you need that, right? It's like reading everything. And we start to live to like 150, 200, 300.
Yeah.
I mean, Brian Johnson thinks he's going to live to like 250 years old. or
Forever.
something, right? Like,
Yeah, he's-
forever, potentially like reversing aging. And then what happens if we all live forever? Like, or even just say the 200 years old, where I'll just start. I mean, there is a
Personally, I think I'm
population
going to live to
decline
be
right now.
150 years old.
Is that what you're?
I think so.
Yes, it is.
150. If you believe it,
Why
you can achieve it.
150?
So I think that looking at human lifespan, like if you go back 100 years, so call it the 1920s or somewhere in between 1900 and 1920s, the average lifespan was like 47 or 49 years old. Fast forward 100 years, the average lifespan has improved to 78 or 79 years old. So it's increased 30 years over the past 100 years. Now, that comes with the advent of like new medical practices, technology around medicine, pharmaceuticals. But now we're an exponential society, right? So things like AI, like my mom had a hip replacement last week. It was outpatient surgery. She was in there for 3 hours. That used to be something that you're down for like a week.
Wow.
You know, like in the hospital. And I just think with all the knowledge around, you know, medicine and things that different modalities that can extend our life, like Brian Johnson's trying to be the blueprint. But there's nothing to say that, I mean, how old are you? Like 30 something? That in 100 years from now, that the average lifespan has increased by another, even call it 20 or so years. So now in the year 2120, let's say, the average lifespan is, you know, 100 or 105 or 100, somewhere in there. And that, you know, if we're fit individuals that take our health and fitness seriously, that we couldn't be on the upper echelon of that, which is somewhere in the 140 to 150. Pending some huge breakthrough like Brian Johnson is trying to say that lets us live even longer.
Go.
Yeah, I mean,
That's my view.
It could be definitely this type of a curve where if we get to 120, 130, we just shoot up to like 180. Like, it's like
I actually heard
crack
that
the code.
I actually heard that the first 150-year-old is only going to be about 10 years older than the first 1,000-year-old. Because once you get to there, that's what you're talking about. Like, you can get to that, and then you're like, you're good.
Would you want that?
I don't even know if we're going to make it. I feel like World War III is about to happen.
The machines take over.
We might not make it another month.
Yeah.
Zora.
Yeah, Sora's going to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think if once you get to that point, it starts to get like, you know, I think what makes life exciting, in a sense, is that you only have this time, right?
Yeah.
And you have this sort of, it keeps you grateful, it keeps you humble.
100%.
Like, hey, I got to make the most of every day. I got to be grateful for every day. If you knew you had 1,000 years, like you'd be like, let me take 5 years off.
Exactly. That's why
change
vampires
your
are
shit up,
lazy.
dude.
That's why vampires are lazy, for sure. There's no rush.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What's the biggest thing? I'm curious too, because you guys are entrepreneurs as well. Like, this is such a huge breakthrough, this whole sector. What, like you mentioned investing in Apple, but what was it for you that was the one thing that you felt like just sent you? Like an idea you had out of the box or something that really set your company apart or took off? Was there like a moment or a decision or an idea?
Yeah, so you know, my company is a lithium extraction company, which is picks and shovels, right? And before that, I was in entertainment. My first successful company was a record label, actually. We had an artist that was a #1 artist on iTunes. This was back in 2010.
I remember how you finagled that. That was great.
Yeah, that's a story for another time.
Yeah.
But the way that I started my company was after Apple, my next best investment, or maybe my best investment, was Tesla back in 2013. And that investment today
Not financial advice.
not financial advice. That investment today is over 100x.
Wow.
But in 2013, nobody believed in Tesla, and I invested. And at the time, it was like, I want to say like $40 a share. And on today's basis, they've gone through stock splits, so it's like $4 a share.
Yeah.
And I put in 500 grand into Tesla, and within 3 months, it doubled. So I was like, $1 million. I was like, I'm going to sell some of this and buy a Tesla. So I sold $130,000 worth of shares, bought the newest Model S, like the sickest Model S, and started driving an electric vehicle. And then, you know, this is like, there was like 3 superchargers in LA. Like, this is like, nobody believed in Tesla back then.
How are you going to charge it? Well,
yeah. And fast forward 5 years, I was traveling down in South America, probably not doing as cool of shit as you were on The Amazing Race, but I went to the world's largest salt flat in Bolivia, and this place is super cool. Like, you go there for the Instagram pictures because of the depth perception, and we're on this like little tour, and our tour guide starts telling us about how this is the world's largest lithium reserve. And I didn't even know like where lithium was or like where it came from. And I was like, damn, my car runs on lithium. Like, it's called a lithium ion battery. I think that electric vehicles are going to take off. And here I am at the world's largest lithium reserve, and they're not producing any lithium from this lithium reserve. So that was my aha moment. And, you know, just like you, it's about seizing opportunity, right? It's about like, there are thousands of people that went to this lithium reserve that didn't decide to start a lithium company. But But based on my prior experience, like, I have this lead up in Tesla and the things that had affected me and my upbringing with my entrepreneurial family. The timing was perfect, right? So I started this lithium company, and it's just about small wins along the way. Like, as an entrepreneur, there are high highs and there are low lows, and you can't let those affect you in the overall journey. You have to keep the pace, keep doing, something bad could happen tomorrow, put that behind you. Something great could happen the next day. We've got great investors like General Motors. We've raised like probably almost 100 million or something like that. But there's so much more to do, right? And it's all about the next thing, right? Like you said. So I think that was one of my coolest moments. I think back to when I had my aha moment for my company now, and that's all I'm focused on. It's just sole focus, sacrifice 18 hours a day, thinking about EnergyX and how I can make it the best thing that it can be. And yeah, that's me. What about you?
100%.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah, just casually
The
throw.
awareness to like see that opportunity, connect the dots, and then actually take action.
Yeah.
Amazing.
100%. Yeah, just casually. Yeah, we raised like $100 million or something like that. Just casual
Roughly
100 mil
in
or
the
something,
ballpark,
right around
yeah.
like put another 100 in. Yeah, for me, I would say my best investment has been in myself. It's kind of like a different way to look at it, but just truly believing in myself and understanding that any idea that I have, I can really make it happen if I really focus on it and I lean into my intuition. So that's something that I've continuously just led with my entire life, whether it's being signed to Interscope Records against all odds at a really early age. That was like winning the lottery back then in 2006, to catapulting and transitioning into other things. I've always just followed my heart and just really, really believed in myself, partly because I think I surrounded myself with good people, and just try and have an internal positive, dialogue going on, just pushing me forward. So, well,
dude, I think you're kind of one of a kind. Pulling backflips with Shaun White.
Yeah,
won the Amazing Race.
Yeah,
one of the best dancers in the world, dancing with Taylor Swift. Seeing the crypto boom before it happened. It's been an honor having you, man. Our first guest.
Yeah, let's go.
It's a weird resume when you say it like that.
There's probably nobody else in the world that has done all those things.
And also, anyone to do one of those things is a huge life.
Huge.
Yeah, it's like, what a life.
Sick.
Backflips with Shaun White, that's like their story forever, and that's the only thing they talk about. You got it all.
The second guest on XTRAordinary has a high bar.
I said last night, let's keep the bar low.
Yeah.
Keep the bar low.
Going with no expectations.
Going with no expectations. That's Spence's motto.
It's been an honor having you, man.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I love you, brother.
I love you too, man.
Let's go.
And you guys are going to kill it with the podcast. Hopefully I can come back.
For sure. Definitely we'll roll that back.
We're back, brother.